Hi YouTube, Edward Tyndall here with my second witness. I have Holy Bible here. Can you raise your right hand and swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, so help me God.
Alright, and what is your name?
Rupert B. Brown.
What is your relationship to me?
Edward is my grandson.
And what is your relationship to Sarah?
Sarah is my granddaughter.
Thank you. On the last court case that you were here, and you heard the aunt, Sarah's aunt, say that Sarah never cared about you or didn't love you, or she dislikes you. How do you feel about that?
Well, they lie. Every time that I've listened to them on this here TV that Edward sets up for them, and I've done it 15 or 20 times, I'm over here when he talked to them, and they always trying to aggravate her. And last time I was over here, one of them said, wiggle your tongue, ha ha ha, wiggle your tongue, ha ha ha, you can't talk, ha ha ha, and they just act like they're drunk or something. I'll tell you, it's awful, and it puts Sarah in a heck of a stress to hear her grandmother and aunt talk like they do about Edward, and she makes faces, just frowns when she don't even want to talk to her. She can't talk, but she don't even want to listen to them. And she'll turn her head sideways over towards me and not even, and they'll say, Sarah, don't cry, you're a crybaby. And Sarah starts crying, and I'll baby her up on the telephone, and they have something to say about that. Say he don't care about you, and you don't care about him, and they just want to lie and lie, and I don't know why the judge is one way. She wants to go their way and not even pay any attention to Edward and any of his witnesses. And I thought I'm 90 years old, and I've been in court a lot of times, and everybody in there had the right to defend themselves. And I've even been to the Supreme Court in Florida and won a case in the Supreme Court. And I never seen a lawyer be one way like this judge, be one way like she is, because the judge is going to have an open mind and listen to both sides, then put a educational reply to it. And all she wants to do is down Edward and not even let him speak in court. He tried to talk in court, and she told him to hush up. And I wanted to talk in court, and she said, you can't do it. So, and wouldn't even let his lawyer talk. Last time I was in court with him, and she's put a financial burden on Edward. She's took his livelihood away from him. And when that judge ruled that he couldn't make any pictures and things of her and her animals, half of them animals are over, half of them belong to her, and she loved them, and that judge ruled that Edward should put him in jail and take Sarah away from him if he put any pictures on the air or on Facebook or ever what he put them on. And I said, and that wasn't right. Then on top of that, he's forced Edward that he can't even go work for an hour or two. Of course, he won't leave her 1 minute. He wants to be here with her all the time, and she put a burden on him by letting that grandma and aunt talk to her. Plus, every afternoon at 4 o'clock, I've got the court order. It said at 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock he's got to be here, and set the phone and all up for them so they can look at her and aggravate her. And Edward, today he called his grandma, called her grandma 3 times, and they cut him off every time he called him, and he didn't get to set it up, so they probably up to something to call their lawyer to get with the judge and say Edward wouldn't let her have it. But Jesse and me was here when he set it up and had it ready for them to get on there, and they cut it off 3 times. He called them. So I tell you, it's Edwards took good care of Sarah. There's been 2 nurses that I know from down there at the hospital told me that if Edwards would have left her in the hospital another 2 weeks, she would be gone. And they
When you say gone, you mean by what?
By being dead.
Yep.
And they said that ain't nobody, no hospital or no nursing home would take as good a care of her as Edward has took care of her, and he has to feed her every 4 hours and change her dressing, her bath stuff that she has to do, and he's got his hands full here, and that judges just went beyond her ruling to come out one-sided, and it's a shame that they've done this boy this way, and it's cost him almost everything that he's had. He's had to mortgage his house to get money to pay the lawyer, and his expenses is $700-800 a month for bed stuff, and it's just too much. And if that judge don't have some sense and rule and take all of them charges and let him go back to filming this thing, I don't know what's going to happen. It's just awful that the way that the law, the court is taught, has done him. And I'm in the process of filing suit against his grandma and aunt for doing Sarah the way they're doing her. They're mistreating her, and it's not right. Then my granddaughter, Edward's sister, wrote.
Yeah, we can read that.
Wrote a letter, a big letter, and I hope that the judge reads it to her, to the judge, and one to the governor of Alabama, and to the board, one of the board deals, ethic committee. And
I'll read the letter when it gets here.
What'd you say?
I'll read that letter when it gets here so everyone can see what the letter says.
It's a long letter, and she put the stuff in there, and anything that I tell y'all or them, if they want to put me on a lie detector test, they can do it, but I want the lawyer to be put on one too, so she can either tell the truth or lie about what she's done.
Which lawyer?
I mean the judge, not the lawyer.
Okay, just so everybody is aware, the judge was a lawyer. She is a registered nurse, and she is a judge. She's got an impressive background, and nobody really wants to trifle with her, but honestly, she does not know both sides of the story, nor does she want to hear it. Her name is Honorable Judge Lori Schultz Hall, Marengo County Probate Judge. That's who the judge that's in here
with
right
that,
now.
With that medicine that she give a court order,
Oxycodone.
The brain doctor down there and that operated on her said nobody, no doctor or nurse or nobody's going to prescribe that oxycodone to them, or it'll make their brain bleed, and it'll take them out of the world. And she got a court order for Edward to give it to her, and it ain't right.
She court ordered the doctor to give it to her.
or the doctor.
I fought that. I was in contempt of court for fighting to. Edward Tyndall was also. I was held in contempt for taking her off of the oxycodone, but that's the only reason she is in the shape she's in now. I do got some other questions for you though.
Okay.
Like, I'm not allowed to show Sarah on here, despite the fact that she has a 2018 sworn affidavit to allow me to film her. The judge also ruled against that. But I want you to look at her and tell me how her demeanor is right now, so everybody can see.
I tell you, she is happy as a little lark.
What's she doing right this minute?
She's smiling at me right now, and every time I come in here and I'll say, hello, my little red-headed girl, she smiles, and just as big as she is right now, she's a little red-headed doll. And she wasn't getting the treatment. Edward would, for about 65 days, Edward drove from here. He'd get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and drive all the way down to Mobile to the hospital, and he'd stay there with Sarah all day. And he's called me up a lot of times and told me that said that she's messed up, and they hadn't changed her, and the stuff is all over and running everywhere, and he's had to clean her up in the hospital. So they wasn't taking good care of her, and he kept fighting about getting her home, and that judge up there didn't want him, and she wanted to put her in a hostage. So you know how long they'll last in a hostage. I think about 10 or 12 days is the limit of it, and then they're gone. So Edward called me up one morning, and he always called me Papa, because ever since he was a baby, he used to ride with me in my truck out in the ranch, and I took him about everywhere I went on a Saturday, and he called me up one day, and I could tell he was been crying or right with tears in his eyes. He said, Papa said the doctor said he couldn't do no more for her, and that was the last. He said he can't stop the blood, and I said, Edward, don't start praying right now. I said, start praying, and I'm going into my room and I'm going to start praying for her. And I sat on the side of my bed and I started praying, and I said, Jesus, you're the same today as you was yesterday and forever. And when you stopped the bleeding of the woman in Ezekiel 16:6, as you walked by her and she was bleeding to death of a miscarriage, you said, live. And you didn't only tell her that once, you told her twice. And that's Ezekiel 16:6. And I said, Jesus, you're the same today as you was yesterday and forever. And when you stop that bleeding of that lady, I know that you can stop the bleeding of Sarah. And I thank the Lord when I got through. Before I got through praying, I seen a white robe in a vision with my eyes closed, move over to her, and I couldn't see the head, just a robe, white robe, and the right arm went out and put a hand over her head, and I said, thank you, Jesus. I know that you was in Jesus' hands then, and I just praised him for it. The next day, Edward stayed with her all night that night, and the next day he called me up and he said, Papa, said the blood has stopped, and the doctor don't know what stopped it. I said, I wished I was there. I'd tell him the Lord up above stopped it, and ain't nothing that Jesus can't do.
Hallelujah, Jesus.
Glory, 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 hallelujah.
Thank you so much for that prayer. I do have a couple other questions for you because they are definitely relevant to this case. One, my whole business has been attacked. Can you tell me who is in this photograph right here?
That's that little red-headed boy.
No.
Or you.
Yep, that is me. Yeah.
You wasn't about 4 years old, and you had that big snake around your neck, Karen.
For the record, everyone can see this. This is me 4 years old, holding my first Burmese python in Fort Myers, Florida, when Burmese pythons were first in the country and they were allowed to be had. Behind that is a tub, a big tank. Can you state what's in that big cow trough back there? Do you remember?
Is that, you had that little gator in one of them?
Yep. Can you remember what his name was?
Yeah. I told you yesterday. Anyhow, he had that gator.
Freddie.
Freddie.
Yep.
And he had that little gator, and he toted him around everywhere he went, and he growed from about 12, 14 inches long to about 4 foot long. And right down at the end of the place where he lived, I gave his daddy 20 acres there, and we had a farm field and had a ditch around it, and at the end of it there was a little hole of water that stayed there. And Edward, he was 4 years old at this here size. He'd take that gator down there, and him and that gator swim, old Freddie, and then he'd bring him back and put him in his pool. Then he had a big turtle. I forget the name of them turtles.
Galapagos.
A what?
It was a Galapagos.
But I can't.
A Galapagos. They come from Galapagos Island.
It was a big turtle. He took care of him. They had their yard fenced in, and that turtle stayed in the yard. And his daddy raised rats and snakes and several different animals, and Edward was always there from 4 years old up to now. He's raised snakes and frogs
That's why it's relevant to this case, because of how long I've been doing this. I'm almost 40 years old now. For the record, I'm 39 years old, and I've been doing this forever. I got a couple more pictures I want to show you. Can you state for the record who is in this photograph and what they are holding?
That's Edward.
And what am I holding? Can you see?
It looked like a rattlesnake.
That's what it is. Put this into here. I have been free handling snakes for most of my life, venomous, and never have I taken a bite. Who is in this photograph here? Because they want to lie and say that Sarah does not like reptiles and all this stuff.
That's Sarah, my little redhead. You see that picture?
Can you tell the people what she's holding in her hand?
She's holding I'm 90 years old, people, and I've been around a few days, and she is it a rattlesnake?
Yeah.
And she's holding a rattlesnake there herself.
Let's show for the record, and here is Sarah. And there she is. You can see the rattle. This is her during her first time training to handle venomous snakes, and she's done it off camera 100 times probably. This right here is another photograph I want to share with y'all. We went through this same thing 5 years ago with her ex, and this is me. I had a heart attack because of the stress that it put on me. That makes me more susceptible to it. The doctor said it was a light heart attack, and Edward Tyndall says that what was light about it. And yes, I am shooting a bird because they've taken several pictures of me off the internet shooting birds. It's just something that I do. I've always been avid in animals. This is a hummingbird that just landed in my hand because people said hummingbirds don't land, so I had to make sure that I had proof that they do.
Well, he's had hummingbirds, and he's had them other little birds.
Yep. My son, he's been a big part of it. My son at 6 years old in a Chinese restaurant full of turtles. So if a restaurant can have turtles in it, I don't see why my son can't have a frog. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. But also, that I want to get back to The aunt said that you don't care about Sarah. How many times have you, honestly, you are under oath, how many times can you guess that you and me and Sarah and Mikey have went out to fancy restaurants and spent over $100? How often in a month's time would you say over the past 6 years?
Well, we'd go sometime twice a month down to Mobile down there. She had to go to the doctor, and the boy, Edward, take him to the doctor, and I had to go to the doctor 2 or 3 times. I've had vein operations, and I've had 2 heart attacks, and now I've got hooked down with a cow and messed my hip up, and I've got to go to an orthopedic doctor Wednesday, so the 21st of this month, and see what they gonna say about it. It's made my foot turn out, and the woman that come by there, the nurse from the nursing outfit that tried to work with me, she said it was a permanent injury I had and wasn't nothing she could do. I'd have to go to an orthopedic doctor, and they'd either operate on me or wouldn't, you know. And said, and one doctor told me he wouldn't operate on me because of my age. If they put me out, I might not come back, and the good Lord has got more work for me to do. Edward, I want to sing my poem on there too.
We're out of time on her. I got to show a couple more photographs. This is just pertinent to the case. Also, here is 5 years ago. We were fighting the same thing. We're being double jeopardy. This is Sarah, me, and Mikey with bruises after he'd been emergency transferred out of child services 6 times and molested because they didn't know what to do with him. Here he is, picture proof. Lily Tate was involved. There he is with a black eye, a busted lip, and a busted nose, and her handprint around his neck and his arm. You can see bruises on there. That was a big argument right in the DHR's office. And here is me and Sarah with our name tags. We fought this for 5 years. So for the last 5 years of my son's life, and my son, for the record, has Marfan syndrome, and he cannot have any more stressors because he had really bad problems. And then the aunt and the grandma called the child services and the police multiple times on us, and 2 days ago I'm sitting here listening to them tell Sarah that Edward Tyndall called the law and the child services on himself to blame them like it was them. But I have signed documents from DHR and the police and the judge with their signatures on it that I may show in a later video if I have to. This stuff is going to come to a close. I have 19 more witnesses that I'm going to be putting on this channel daily if I can.
Each one of y'all that listen to this thing, I wish y'all would write a letter to that judge or call a number. There's a number that Edward can give you. I didn't bring it with me that you can call and get a thing where you can put something against her for the way she's treating Edward and his family.
Well, she don't really know because she's never given me a chance to give any evidence.
All she wants to do is take the word of them 2 drunk women up yonder. She won't listen to even to Edward's attorney. In all fairness, her being a judge, she didn't become a registered nurse, a judge, a probate judge, and everything by being stupid. She's a highly intelligent woman. The problem is, in this circumstance, she's not showing no common sense because she's not looking at the whole picture. As y'all can see, we are a happy family. We've been a happy family for years. See that picture years. Sarah's got.
I've taught my son stuff that he'd never ever know. This is after we rescued him from the child services after being molested. We were teaching him how to hatch chickens out.
Edward, she got a turkey or something right there.
Yeah, it's a turkey. Baby turkey. That's all the time we have for now. The poem he's talking about, if y'all want to hear it, it is in. It's on here 3 times. I've got. I'll put a put a link in there if I can find it. Just look up Papa's Poem. It's on my channel. Also, what about Mikey? How many? Wait a minute. There's another important thing I wanted to know. Sarah, how long has she been a member of your church?
Well, they been going there up till she got sick, and it's been 5 or 6 years.
Has Mikey went to your church?
Yep, the kid did too.
What type of religion is your church?
It's a Baptist church.
How has Sarah ever told you how she feels about Jehovah's Witness?
No, I never talked to her about that. If she hadn't have got sick, I was going to really talk to her about the Lord, how wonderful He is in answering prayers and all. And I pray to the Lord that she'll get well where me and her can have a discussion about that.
Well, we are working on it. How do you think her overall health has got since you've seen her come here? What did she look like when she first got here in my care?
When I seen her down there in Mobile, her arms were paralyzed and she had them locked up next to her chest, and she couldn't move her head and move her legs or no movement at all, just laying there like a mummy. And now she moves her head, she follows Edward back and forth everywhere he walks in this room. He got a lovely room here for her, and she follows him around, and she can kick, and every once in a while she almost kicks him upside the head when he walks by.
What is she doing right now? What is her response to hearing what you're saying?
She is smiling big as she can smile. She thinks it's funny. It won't be funny when she hits him flat the head with that big foot. And he got her home, and he started working with her, and he got that one leg working 100%, and the other leg has started working. She can raise it up in her left arm. She can pick it up and hold a tennis ball on a string, and she can move her head back and forth, and she knows everything you say to her, but she just can't answer you because she's got that thing in her throat. And but she's gonna make it. The good Lord's gonna take care of her, and she might not be back exactly like she was before, but she'll be close to it, and I thank the Lord for taking care of her.
One final question. Do you think that Sarah's rights have been violated about her not being able to be on YouTube, something that she wanted to do?
Oh yeah, her rights have been violated because she wrote a letter, and Edward's got it, and she wanted Edward to keep her on. She knew it. She was sick and needed medical attention before she ever got this here way, and she had a letter wrote, and you got it on UP or something.
Yeah, they can see it. Sarah Tyndall's 2018 sworn affidavit.
And
there's more things that she's put into effect.
She's doing really good. I'm proud of her.
All right, people, I appreciate y'all being here. We're running out of time because it's going to cut to a second thing. We only got 30 minutes. Thank you, bless you all, and y'all stay tuned.
I just hope that each one of y'all send that judge a letter up there wanting to know what's her reason for treating Edward the way she is. And I know that she's taking the word of that grandma and aunt, and they got a lawyer up north there, and her grandma hadn't called her in 5 or 6 years, and all of a sudden when she got hurt, she wants Edward to put her on the phone every night, and it's a lot of stressing to him. And with her grandma and them treating her like they did, she ain't got no business listening to them and going through a panic like she does when they call her.
Nope, her blood pressure goes to extremely detrimental to her health levels, and I'm recording every one of the thing in a log. I have a log that I record her blood pressure in the morning and while they're on the phone with her, and it raises from it gets up to 170, 180, over 150.
Yeah, that's
with
too
155 pulse rate, and her just screaming until her throat bleeds, and I have to sit there and dab the blood up. It's horrible, but this video's over now, and y'all stay tuned for the next witness. Like I said, I got 19 more, and I'm just waiting on them to get here. So Tyndall's out. Thank you, Rupert Brown.